One of the city's most picturesque neighborhoods has taken a huge hit over the years because of the revitalization of Over the Rhine and the emergence of the banks. But things may be changing for Mount Adams. On the Business Courier front page centerpiece, new life on the hill. Back in the mid-2000s, Mount Adams was riding high with a strong lineup of bars and restaurants offering some of the best views in the city. Mount Adams had long been a go-to nightlife destination, but then OTR and the banks became the hot spots, and as a result, Mount Adams has taken an economic hit. Since 2016, at least 4 of its restaurants and 1 bar have closed. But a coalition of property owners, bar and restaurant operators, and residents is working on a number of initiatives to bring people and dollars back to Mount Adams. Business Courier reporter Tom Demoropoulos joins Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio to talk about the efforts underway to help the Hill get its groove back. Tom and Kelly.
Thanks, Peg. Tom, great story.
Thank you.
My mom went to high school in Mount Adams back in the 50s. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I love reading about the neighborhood. Talk a little bit about why now this is happening.
Yeah, so Mount Adams kind of hit its bottom, they think. You know, speaking with people up in the neighborhood, they believe they've hit bottom and they're starting to work their way back up. And there's a lot of big projects that are going to be happening in the Mount Adams area. New residential developments, the new playhouse in the park, new entrance for the Cincinnati Art Museum. So you've got all these major projects that are going to be happening in the neighborhood. And the citizens, the people, the residents of Mount Adams want to have a strong, healthy business district. And so you've got all these different groups that have kind of come together, and they're really starting to get some traction on, you know, bringing back new restaurants, making connectivity between all these major attractions in the area. And it's come a long way.
Yeah, and it's really cool that Mount Adams does have a bulk of residents. It's really a residential neighborhood, and it's an entertainment district, so to speak. You actually tried to get Neil Bortz to come in this morning because he is so pivotal to all of this. Talk a little bit about Neil Bortz's role.
Yeah, so Neil Bortz launched his real estate career almost 50 years ago in Mount Adams as a real estate developer. And Mount Adams, I think, holds kind of a special place in his heart. You know, their headquarters, Town Properties headquarters, is still located up there. And he really has his finger on the pulse of what's happening in that neighborhood and has a sense of really wanting to do everything he can to make that a great place for people to live, work, and play. So, you know, he's working. They've bought up some additional property, and they're working on bringing in some new operators to improve the diversity of restaurant options in the neighborhood, and really looking to do everything they can. And one of the things that I wrote about in the stories, they're even looking at potentially a hotel, which would help with the event center that's up there now, the Monastery Event Center.
Yeah, which is beautiful.
Yeah, they've got a lot of plans to help that neighborhood.
So any sort of timeline, or is it just kind of go with the flow, or what's the general plan for that?
What's been interesting about this whole thing is that it's been a very organic process in talking with the residents, and they're working with human nature on kind of, you know, a lot of these different plans. It's been very organic. The neighborhood's kind of come together and said, we like these things. We'd like to have better connectivity. We'd like lighting on the stairs. We'd like some things that help us make it easier to get to these institutions, the playhouse in the park, from the neighborhood. So they're all kind of in process, and they've got some bigger, you know, some bigger grand plans, like a potential hotel. But those are a little more in the future planning right now. So.
Well, sounds great. If you haven't been to Mount Adams, get up there and check it out. Thanks for being here, Tom. Peg, back to you.
It'd be great to see you come back. Thank you, Tom and Kelly.